We all dream. Some of us dream of starting a business, writing a book, traveling the world, or making a difference. But here's the hard truth. Dreams without action remain just that, dreams. Turning dreams into reality isn't magic. It's commitment, it's sacrifice, it's showing up even when no one's watching. Think about every inventor, artist, leader, or change maker. They didn't just dream, they did, they acted, they failed, they learned. And eventually they triumphed. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is built by your daily actions, and that bridge is called discipline. Today, I challenge you, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start building, start small if you must, but start. The world doesn't need more dreamers, it needs more doers. Let's turn our dreams into reality, not someday, but starting today. 1. Clarity of vision. One of the most fundamental steps in turning dreams into reality is achieving absolute clarity of vision. You cannot pursue what you cannot define. Too often, people say they want to be successful or make a difference, but these are broad, ambiguous desires. Without specifics, your energy gets scattered and your direction becomes aimless. Clarity means knowing exactly what you want, not just the general idea, but the fine details. It means asking yourself tough questions. What do I really want to achieve? Why do I want it? What does success look like to me personally, not just what others expect? When you can visualize the outcome in vivid detail, the place, the feeling, the people around you, the impact you're making, you begin to program your mind with a destination. This clarity acts like a GPS. If you get in your car without knowing where you're going, any road will do. But with a defined destination, every decision, every effort, and every step gets filtered through that goal. You start to prioritize better. You stop wasting time on things that don't serve your dream. Moreover, clarity gives you emotional fuel. A clear vision isn't just intellectual, it's motivational. It stirs your passion and helps you stay focused when things get tough. When you know your why, your how becomes much easier to figure out. Clarity of vision is also what separates a wish from a commitment. When you're crystal clear on what you want, your actions start to align with your ambitions. You begin to say no to distractions and yes to opportunities that move you forward. Without that clarity, you're vulnerable to hesitation, self-doubt, and detours. In short, the clearer your dream, the stronger your drive. If you want to turn your dream into a reality, begin by turning the fog in your mind into a clear picture. Get specific, get focused, and write it down. Once you see your dream clearly, you can begin the journey to reach it. 2. Set realistic, actionable goals after gaining clarity of vision. The next crucial step is to translate that vision into specific, realistic, and actionable goals. A dream without a structured plan is like a ship without a compass. It may sail, but it has no direction. Setting goals means breaking your dream down into smaller, measurable steps that are achievable within a defined timeline. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, say, I want to build an online business that earns $1,000 a month within the next 6 months. That's not just a goal, it's a roadmap. It gives you something you can aim at, track, and accomplish. The key is to make these goals SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework ensures your goals are not just wishes or hopes, but concrete targets. For example, if your dream is to become a published author, don't just say, write a book. Break it down, write 500 words a day, finish the first draft in 3 months, revise it over the next 2 months, and submit to publishers or self-publish by a certain date. Realistic and actionable goals also protect you from feeling overwhelmed. Big dreams can be intimidating. They seem so far away that you may hesitate to even begin. But when you break them into smaller, attainable parts, they become less daunting. Achieving small goals builds confidence, creates momentum, and fuels your motivation to keep going. It's also important to regularly review and adjust your goals. Life changes, circumstances shift, and sometimes we learn that what we thought was the right step isn't anymore. Flexibility is not failure, it's intelligence. Adapting your goals as you grow is part of the journey. Another powerful aspect of setting goals is accountability. When your goals are clearly defined and written down, it becomes easier to track your progress and hold yourself responsible. You can measure how far you've come, where you need to improve, and what needs to be done next. It turns your dream into a living, evolving project rather than a distant fantasy. Ultimately, actionable goals transform the abstract into the tangible. They give your dream a structure, a sequence, and a strategy. Without them, your vision will remain a beautiful idea that never materializes. But with them, your dream becomes a series of achievable milestones leading you steadily toward your ultimate destination. 3. Create a plan and stick to it once you've clarified your vision and set realistic, actionable goals. The next essential step is to create a solid plan and, more importantly, stick to it. A dream, no matter how vivid or inspiring, remains a distant hope unless it is supported by a practical, thought-out plan of action. Planning is where ideas are transformed into intentional steps, strategies, and systems. Creating a plan means laying out the path that connects where you are now to where you want to be. It's about asking yourself what needs to happen, in what order, and by when. A plan gives structure to your ambition. It outlines the resources you'll need, the skills you must develop, the obstacles you might encounter, and the timeline in which you intend to reach each milestone. A good plan is not rigid, it's realistic, but also flexible enough to adapt when circumstances change. Start by identifying the most important tasks that will move you closer to your goals. Break these tasks down into daily, weekly, or monthly objectives. When every day has a purpose, even small actions begin to compound into real progress. Equally important is the discipline to stick to the plan. It's one thing to create a plan on paper. It's another to live it out in the face of distractions, discouragement, and delays. Success rarely comes from one massive effort. It comes from consistent follow-through. That means showing up on the days when motivation is low. It means keeping promises to yourself even when no one else is watching. Sticking to your plan also teaches you accountability and time management. When your actions are scheduled and prioritized, you become more efficient. You learn to make better decisions about how you spend your time, energy, and attention. Procrastination becomes less of a temptation because you've already decided what needs to be done and when. Moreover, a well-executed plan helps you stay focused and avoid burnout. When you're working from a plan, you're not guessing what to do next, you already know. That clarity reduces stress and increases productivity. It also provides a sense of control over your journey, which can be incredibly empowering, especially when things get difficult. Finally, planning is a form of commitment. When you take the time to organize your path, you're sending a message to yourself and to the world. I'm serious about this dream. Planning is preparation, and preparation is a powerful form of belief. It's saying, I expect to succeed, and I'm doing the work to make sure I do. 4. Take consistent action. Dreams are often born in moments of inspiration, a late-night thought, a powerful story, or a deep desire for something more. But while inspiration ignites the flame, only consistent action keeps it burning. This is the part where many people struggle. They have the vision, they've even made a plan, but they fail to take regular, sustained steps toward their goal. Consistent action means showing up every day, not just when it's convenient, not just when you're motivated, but especially when you aren't. It's about building momentum through repetition and making progress a habit. Even small actions repeated over time can lead to enormous results. In fact, it's often the seemingly insignificant efforts, writing a paragraph, practicing for 30 minutes, reaching out to one new connection, that quietly move you closer to success. Think of consistent action like watering a plant. You don't see it grow overnight. Some days it might look like nothing is happening at all, but underneath the surface, roots are forming. The same is true of your efforts. Every step, no matter how small, contributes to the foundation of your future achievement. Skipping days or waiting for a perfect moment only delays the outcome and disrupts your rhythm. Consistency also builds confidence. The more you show up and do the work, the more you prove to yourself that you're capable. This self-trust is essential because doubt and fear are inevitable companions on the journey to realizing a dream. When you've built a track record of action, you have real evidence to silence those doubts. Additionally, consistent action helps you improve. Each time you take action, you gain experience, you learn what works, what doesn't, and what can be improved. Over time, you refine your approach and grow in skill and knowledge. Without consistent practice, you miss out on these valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. It's important to note that action doesn't always mean big, dramatic moves. In fact, it's often better to focus on sustainable action, the kind you can maintain long-term without burning out. This might mean dedicating a set time each day or week to work on your dream, setting boundaries to protect that time, and treating it with the same importance as any other priority in your life. Moreover, consistent action is a powerful antidote to fear and overthinking. The longer you wait, the more time you give fear to grow. But when you're in motion, even imperfect motion, you're too focused on progress to be paralyzed by doubt. You begin to shift from "can I do this?" to "how can I do this better?" Ultimately, action is what transforms potential into progress. You can dream, plan, and visualize all day, but without taking action, nothing changes. Consistency is the engine that drives your dream forward, slow and steady, day by day, step by step. 5. Embrace failure as part of the process. One of the biggest obstacles that prevents people from turning dreams into reality is the fear of failure. It's a fear that whispers, "What if I'm not good enough?" or "What if I try and still fall short?" But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a vital part of it. Every successful person you admire has failed, and probably more than once. The difference is, they didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. Instead, they embraced it, learned from it, and used it to grow stronger. When you pursue a dream, you're stepping into the unknown. You're challenging yourself, leaving your comfort zone, and trying things you've never done before. Mistakes are inevitable, and that's not something to be ashamed of. In fact, every mistake offers you valuable information. It shows you what doesn't work, points you toward what might work better, and builds resilience. Failure teaches you lessons that success can't. It reveals your weaknesses, tests your determination, and sharpens your focus. More importantly, it humbles you. It reminds you that growth takes time and effort, that mastery is earned, not granted. When you start to view failure not as a punishment, but as feedback, you shift your mindset from fixed to growth-oriented. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" Embracing failure also helps you take more risks. When you're no longer paralyzed by the idea of falling short, you're more willing to experiment, innovate, and try new approaches. This courage is essential for anyone chasing a dream because no great achievement comes without uncertainty. Playing it safe might protect you from disappointment, but it also robs you of the chance to discover your full potential. Additionally, failure builds emotional endurance. The first time you fail, it might feel devastating. But the more you experience it and recover from it, the more you realize that it's survivable. That strength becomes part of who you are. It makes you more confident, more grounded, and more capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. What's important is how you respond to failure. Do you give up? Do you let it define your worth? Or do you reflect, adjust, and try again with greater wisdom? The people who succeed are not those who avoid failure, they are those who outlast it. They fail forward, they keep going, even with scraped knees and bruised pride, because they know that every setback carries the seed of a comeback. Ultimately, embracing failure means accepting that the path to your dream will not be smooth and choosing to walk it anyway. It's a mindset shift that transforms obstacles into stepping stones and makes the journey not just bearable, but meaningful. 6. Surround yourself with support. No dream is realized in isolation. While personal determination is critical, the people around you can either elevate your journey or weigh it down. That's why one of the most powerful steps you can take in turning your dream into reality is to surround yourself with a strong, supportive network. The environment you place yourself in socially, emotionally, and mentally has a profound influence on your mindset, motivation, and momentum. Support comes in many forms. It can be family members who believe in you, friends who encourage your progress, mentors who offer guidance, peers who hold you accountable, or communities of like-minded individuals who inspire you. These people don't need to share your exact dream, but they must support your pursuit of it. Their belief in you can serve as a vital lifeline during moments of doubt, exhaustion, or frustration. When you're surrounded by positive influences, something incredible happens. Your dream begins to feel more possible, encouragement becomes fuel, conversations turn into brainstorming sessions, honest feedback helps you grow. And you start to absorb the mindset and energy of those who also strive for growth and excellence. On the other hand, being around negativity, people who constantly criticize, doubt, or belittle your aspirations can drain your confidence and distort your vision. That's why it's essential to protect your environment. If someone consistently sows seeds of doubt or fear, it's not unkind to distance yourself. It's a form of self-respect. You don't owe anyone access to your dream who isn't helping it grow. Building a support system doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. Seek out people who are ahead of you in the journey, those who have walked similar paths and can offer wisdom. Look for mentors, join groups or communities aligned with your interests, and don't be afraid to ask for help. There is strength in vulnerability. Admitting you don't have all the answers and leaning on others for insight or encouragement can actually deepen your journey. Support also goes both ways. When you contribute to others' growth and offer encouragement in return, you build relationships rooted in mutual empowerment. These bonds often become the most lasting and meaningful. Celebrating someone else's success doesn't diminish your own. In fact, it cultivates a spirit of abundance and trust that strengthens everyone involved. It's also important to remember that support isn't just external, it's internal. The way you speak to yourself matters. Self-support through positive self-talk, resilience, and self-compassion forms the foundation upon which all other support rests. But when that foundation is combined with a healthy, encouraging external network, you gain both the inner and outer strength to keep moving forward. In the end, the journey to achieving your dream is long and often challenging. Having people in your corner cheering you on, challenging you to grow, and reminding you of your why when you forget can make all the difference. 7. Stay patient and persistent in a world that celebrates instant success and overnight fame. Patience and persistence have become undervalued virtues, but they are absolutely essential when it comes to turning dreams into reality. Big dreams don't come true in a day, a week, or even a few months. They take time, dedication, and the unwavering belief that the effort you're putting in now will eventually pay off. Patience means understanding that progress often unfolds slowly and that meaningful growth doesn't always produce immediate results. There will be seasons where you're working hard and it feels like nothing is happening. You might put in months of effort before seeing even a hint of the outcomes you're hoping for. In these moments, it's easy to become discouraged, to doubt yourself, or to consider giving up. But this is where true growth is happening beneath the surface, often unseen. Success is rarely linear. It's not a straight path from point A to point B. It's full of detours, setbacks, and plateaus. Patience allows you to ride out these rough patches without losing sight of the bigger picture. It teaches you to trust the process, to focus on the daily actions rather than obsessing over the results, and to find satisfaction in the journey itself. At the same time, persistence is what keeps you moving forward. It's the inner fire that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how many times the wind blows against it. Persistence is about getting up every time you fall, trying again every time you fail, and pushing through every moment when quitting feels easier than continuing. It's what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Persistent people understand that obstacles are not signs to stop, they are signals to adapt. If one path doesn't work, they try another. If they encounter resistance, they build strength. If progress is slow, they stay committed anyway. They don't rely solely on motivation, which comes and goes. They rely on discipline and the deep sense of purpose behind their dream. Together, patience and persistence create resilience, the ability to keep going not because it's easy, but because the dream is worth it. These qualities help you withstand the inevitable delays, doubts, and difficulties. They keep your hope alive when circumstances challenge it, and they help you grow into the kind of person capable of achieving your dream, not just dreaming it. It's also important to acknowledge that dreams evolve over time. What you set out to achieve may shift along the way, and that's okay. Patience gives you the space to explore those shifts without panic, and persistence ensures that no matter how your dream changes form, your commitment to growth and progress remains steady. So while the world may tempt you with shortcuts, fast fame, or instant gratification, remember this: real success is built slowly. It is earned with patience and secured with persistence through showing up, doing the work, and refusing to give up even when the rewards aren't immediate.